What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Currently, the Clippers are in the 8th seed. Currently, the Clippers have an opportunity to make a move. And they have the opportunity to make a move in regards to the seeding because they're only a couple of games back. Currently, right now, the Nuggets are 33-25. The Clippers are 31-28. Now, of course, they would need the Nuggets to win or lose a few more games, but that's definitely possible because they're up and down team this year. They're not a good team like they were a couple seasons ago or have a better record like they did last year. So when you look at that, the Clippers have an opportunity to move up actually in the standings if they're able to string together some wins. Now, you look at the Clippers' schedule, the next 10 games, they got a really favorable schedule. They only really got one hard team I would say they really would have a challenge with. And honestly, I don't know if that would be a challenge too much because the hardest team on their schedule in the next 10 games is the Warriors. I mean, they just beat the Rockets, but they play the Rockets 2 more times within the next week. And they play the Lakers twice in the next 2 weeks. So that could be 4 or 5 wins straight right there. And then after that, they got the Hawks. They got the Wizards again, and then they got the Warriors, and they got Cleveland, I believe. So if you look at where the Clippers are right now, they have an opportunity to do something better than what they have, which is move up in the seeding, in which a lot of people didn't think or didn't even fathom that they can do. So, I mean, right now, Ty Lue is looking at that schedule and seeing how favorable that schedule is. That's a very soft schedule to have, especially when you got a bunch of guys right now that have nothing but confidence, going out there playing with no pressure, and the pressure's all on other teams. Any team that plays the Clippers right now, the pressure is on you when you play them. If the Clippers lose to any team in the NBA, maybe besides a few, if they lose to any adequate teams or decent teams, nobody's going to say anything because they don't have both of their superstars. So without both of their superstars, they're definitely neutralized in most people's eyes. But that's the thing with the Clippers. They found ways to be effective even without those 2 superstars and win big games without them. So if you look at their schedule, the way it is right now is definitely favorable for them to win a lot of those games. I think they could win 7 out of 10, bare minimum, of the next 10 games. I really believe they can do that. And if they're able to do that, and let's say hypothetically, the Nuggets lost a couple games in a row, well, that would put the Clippers right where they need to be. And they would be right there fighting for that 6th seed. And that would put them in great position where they would want to be. Because if they're able to move up the standings without both of their superstars, that's going to let everybody know, well, dang, when they get both of those superstars back, they are a championship contender, like, no doubt. So, I mean, when you look at that in its entirety, like, you have to respect the fact of, what they will be able to accomplish if they're able to do that. You see what I'm saying? And that would be really, really good for the Clippers' confidence, especially a lot of those young players, because now they would know, like, okay, we could really hold down the fort without our 2 superstars because they're not even here and we moved up 2 or 3 seedings without them and we stayed afloat the whole time. Now, of course, all this is pending on whether Paul George would come back. But, of course, we have to see how that goes. We have to see if that actually turns out. Hopefully no setbacks with Paul George. And then, he would be on his way back on the court. And then we got to just definitely hope that Kawhi Leonard comes back because he'll definitely complete the circle. And I definitely, in the playoffs, they're definitely going to need Kawhi Leonard because, like I said, if they got to play the Dallas Mavericks or somebody like that again, it's going to be tough to beat them 3 straight times, especially without Kawhi Leonard. And it'd be tough to beat them 3 straight times with Kawhi Leonard. I mean, that's just one of those teams that Dallas gets up for. Dallas gets up for the Clippers. And I feel like for some reason, they're going to find a way to play the Clippers again in this playoffs. And it's going to be just a tough 6-7 game battle, just as it was last year and the year before that. So, I mean, Right now, though, the Clippers need to just focus on what's at hand. They have an opportunity to move up in the standings. Looking at their next 10 games, technically the only team on that schedule that's really, really difficult for them would be the Warriors. But they played the Warriors great the last time they played them, and they definitely have an opportunity to win all these games just about. I mean, now we have to consider Marcus Morris has to continue playing where he is. He's playing really good these days. I don't know if it's some type of, trick or something like that going on. I haven't seen him play this consistent in a while. So honestly, it's starting to scare me more than it is actually excite me. So, I mean, hopefully he can continue. Hopefully he can continue doing what he's doing. Reggie can definitely do his thing and chip in because they're going to need contribution from those two especially. And shout out Luke Kennard, last night against the Rockets, he scored 25 points, which really isn't hard. The Rockets are pretty predominantly trash anyway. So, not saying it's easy, but it's definitely more than adequate for him to do because they're just not a team that's really not that good. But of course, we've seen Luke Kennard score big on other teams as well. So got to give him credit too. He's definitely got to come up big. Terrence Mann, came up, with some good points too. So you got to give him some credit. He's been playing good the last few games. So hopefully he can continue that trend as well. But I definitely think the Clippers' next 10 games, they definitely have a lot to be excited about because they can beat the Lakers. And when you look at it from this standpoint, they play the Lakers 2 more times in the next week or so. From starting from Friday anyway, after the All-Star break and everything. So they have an opportunity to sweep the Lakers the whole season. I mean, let that sink in. That'd be an accomplishment right there. You want to talk about a confidence builder, sweeping the Lakers the whole season, like every game, like that would be a very huge confidence builder, and that would just be all the confidence they need to go forward and just beat everybody else they have to play if they could sweep the Lakers. I mean, that's just definitely something that the Clippers would love to do, to have the bragging rights of LA. So I mean, but right now, like I said, when you look at, they got 2 games with Lakers, they got 2 more games with Houston. I don't know how the schedule landed up that way to have 3 games with Houston, but that's definitely, that definitely should be 2 wins. I don't want to sit here and jinx the Clippers, but my goodness, I mean, you got to beat the Rockets. I mean, let's just beat the Rockets. I'm gonna say that. Well, and then like I said, the only team on this schedule I think that really would give them a run is the Warriors, of course. But they could beat the Warriors. I mean, the Clippers have beaten teams as good as Warriors all season. They've done that. So I mean, they might slip in and beat a team like that. I just hope that they don't get a big win like that and then lose to a team like the Washington Wizards like the night after. Like that would just be, demoralizing, I'm saying, all over again. But I do think the Clippers can go on a little, several game winning streak here. I think they have an opportunity to do that. And I think they will do that. I think they will, get some wins here and string together a few wins and a little bit more confidence and move up the seeding. Now, I don't know how high they can move up. 7th seed is what most people probably would project as high as they can move up right now. I personally think they can move up to the 6th seed because I just don't see Denver being that good. Jamal Murray, I don't know when he's coming back or anytime soon or anything like that, but we'll just have to see. I mean, he's been out for a while now, so I mean, it's just kind of hard to say, which is kind of weird. I would have thought he came back by now, which kind of makes me weary of Kawhi Leonard's situation. His ACL injury, everybody else seems to be out a year, 2 years, so I mean, you recover how you recover, though. Nobody's saying anything bad about that, but I just hope Kawhi definitely comes back, man, because even with PG, it's still going to be tough. And then you got to understand, PG is not going to be in rhythm for a little while, maybe about a month or so, a couple weeks to a month, if he does come back. And, it's like I said, it's just going to be tough. And you got other teams in the West that are really tough. It's just going to be hard, what I'm saying? So they just need all their pieces. They need everybody healthy, and they need to go ahead and try to make a run at this thing now because this is the year for them to do it, just as last year was. This is their year, though, because like I said, there's no guarantee for next year, and teams are only getting better. So, I mean, they got to find a way to get their 2 superstars back and try to make a run at it now. And I think that's the reason why Kawhi Leonard wants to try to hurry up and come back as quickly as he can this year, because he sees he sees that the window of opportunity is closing, and, everybody might not be back next year. Might be some pieces gone, some here. You know how that goes. So, I mean, he knows that. And, I mean, he's just trying to do everything he can to come back. But, of course, you don't want to rush that either, because because you don't want to make it worse for the, latter part of your career going forward. So I definitely understand that as well. But right now, the Clippers do have an opportunity to move up in the seeding. I hope they do. I definitely like their schedule. It's definitely favorable going forward for them, as long as they continue to get consistency out of the guys that they're supposed to, and the other young guys just chip in the way they're supposed to. I definitely think the Clippers can, make some moves in that way. So I hope they do it. And I'm interested to see how it goes going forward. But hey, that's my take on everything. You leave any comments in the comment section as always. And hey, Khaliis out.